Voy a hacer Juan Manuel, volumen, cero. Estamos al aire. Ok. Ready?
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 Yeah.
Vamos. So, good afternoon for me, good morning for you guys. This is a re-encounter with Achaval Ferrer. We've met before in some previous webinar, and I hope most of you we've met before. So, we've just taken some time these days to deepen some concepts. We've talked in general about our wines, we've talked in general about our philosophy, and now, as I love to talk, I'll continue talking. Today with me is Eklio. Eklio is working the US market for us.
Hello guys, hello everybody. Nice to meet you, some of you. Some others we already know, so it's a pleasure.
Basically, my wife told me don't travel so much, so we hired Eklio. No, Eklio is part of our desire to deepen our knowledge of the markets, desire to help you guys to deepen Achaval Ferrer's penetration into the markets. So Eklio will be working with you, all of you, a lot of time. He'll be like your brother, and that will make Achaval Ferrer take it to the next step as an icon producer from south of the equator. So I know it's summer, I know it's Florida, so I just wanted to tell you what we are living right now. So Soledad, picture number 1, please. Are we on screen? So guys, anytime you're too hot and it's too humid, come down here. This is what you can enjoy at Achaval Ferrer. At the end is a bit of ski, and after skiing, wine tasting. It doesn't come any better than that. So Eklio skis too, so
I do.
We'll be able to go with you guys. So to go to it, today we're going to talk more in depth about 2 of our wines. But we can't talk about 2 without mentioning all 3 ideas of wine. Just this is a refresher. I don't want to go in depth. But we have first idea of Malbec. Let's rephrase. Achaval Ferrer is all about old vine Malbec. So each of our wines is an expression, a point of view, a spotlight on old vine Malbec. The first spotlight is always Malbec as fruit. This is our Mendoza Malbec. Eklio's open it here. We spent a year looking for a name that we reflected what the wine was and wanted to be. We found 3 or 4, all were trademarked, so now we call it the Mendoza Malbec just because it says Achaval Ferrer Malbec Mendoza. So that's the poor name or lack of name for it. The first spotlight on any variety has to be its fruit typicity, and that's the Mendoza Malbec. We're drinking the 2010. This just arrived in the US a month or 2 ago. It is in your warehouses. I hope it's in the shelves of your retailers and on the wine list of your restaurants.
Cheers.
Salud.
Salud. Right out of the oven.
One of the things I wanted to describe is when you talk about fruit, there's a simplification, a way to describe what we try to get in the vineyard. And when you talk about complexity and minerality, you normally think about the root system. You normally think about how to develop that root system and deepen the root system so that those little tiny white hairs that develop at the beginning of the season and the end of the season after harvest have the ability to gain more from the soil, more microelements, because those microelements will be the ones that will become those complexity elements, those mineral elements, the terroir expression of a wine. On the other hand, when you think about fruit, you're talking more about the canopy. Even though fruit is developed also by the rootstock and minerality is also helped along by the canopy, it helps to have this distinction. Mendoza Malbec then is more about the canopy than it is about the root system, because fruit flavors, these powerful plum, dark cherries, some a little bit of strawberries in there, some red and black fruit in beautiful combination, It's an element of the canopy. It's an element of photosynthesis. It's an element about how, if you manage it right, you get beautiful texture, beautiful density, and the same aliveness and brightness in the wine.
And we also have Old Vine Malbec here.
Old Vine Malbec, certainly. We have several vineyards in the Mendoza Malbec program. You know, it's our biggest production. It's 40% roughly for production to 50%. And but the oldest here was planted in 1894. It's a vineyard in the Medrano area. It's the lowest of our vineyards, 700 meters, 680 meters. That's 2,200 feet above sea level, and planted in 1894. Guys, our great grandfathers were not alive at that time, or barely alive at the time. So to me, it's an awesome thing to be working with something like that.
It's a museum of wine, actually.
It's a living museum of wine, of viticulture.
It's really hard around the world to find this kind of old vines. After, well, we all know about phylloxera, so it's quite a good point to stress, to point out to everybody about our wines.
Yep, and when you think about it, not only old, they're planted on their own roots. And I know this can become an academic or a nerd discussion about how different is the varietal expression when grafted to American rootstock or when not grafted. Nobody has been able to conduct a double-blind controlled experiment about it, but I firmly believe that when that varietal expression is not intermediated by any other genetic expression, other rootstock, and the graft and callus there is no truer varietal expression than an own-rooted old vine, in this case, Malbec. We work a lot in the vineyard. Even for this wine, our highest yielding wine, we leave only 2 tons to 2.5 tons per acre.
Guys, that's like 3 bottles. 1 bottle, we need 3 plants.
No, that's the fincas.
Oh, sorry. One plant, 1 bottle.
One plant, 1 bottle.
One plant, 1 bottle.
We started at the high end. He started at the high end, sorry. No, it's 1 plant per bottle. These plants easily can make 1.5 times that, twice that. They could. Even in these old vineyards, if you irrigated and fertilized. And then we started getting into the quality of the manure, let's put it that way, we put in the vineyard. We only use cow manure. But I digress. The key point here is we do a lot in the vineyard. We shoot thin, we remove laterals, we leaf the fruit zone, we drop some fruit, I'd say half the fruit, no, 1/3 of the fruit at veraison to gain perfect berries. Once you have perfect berries, we don't like to do a lot in the winery. Sola, if you have the picture from the fermentation. Here you can see it's a picture of the non-work. As you can see, the lady is sitting down. She's just watching the wine go by. That's a pump over. And we're just slowly drizzling the wine on top of the cap and doing that a lot. Normal wineries do that 3 times a day, 2 to 3 times a day, 1 hour per time. That young lady has been sitting there 4 hours already. That's why she's tired. We do that 12 hours a day, 12 to 16 hours a day, depending on the wine. We believe in not doing a lot, but we believe in using the most soft, the best, the slowest method of extraction possible, and I believe a pump over well managed is that. Think of it. If you think of the traditional punch down, small bins, hand done, beautiful. I love that. If you go above a ton, you're doing it with an instrument. You're abrading the cap as it goes down. You can see the workers at the winery. They develop these big shoulders. You don't want to play rugby with them or wrestle with them because they're punching down these caps all the time, and it requires a lot of strength. Inevitably, that strength is being transmitted to the skins, and the skins are being broken and abraded and degraded by the punch down. So if you ask me, and I know many winemakers hold different opinions, and their wines are beautiful too. So we're not disrespecting their opinions, But if you ask me, a pump over irrigated on the top, sprinkled on the top, is the softest extraction possible for the wine. Now imagine you have this 1894 vineyard, you're pumping over to extract all this, and when it's fermented, there's not much more to do. So we press at dryness, we don't do extended fermentations, we don't do cold soaks before the fermentation, we don't inoculate for malolactic, we don't acidify. There's a lot of things we don't do because we have those marvelous 2.5 tons per acre of this fantastic 1894 vineyard and others similar to that. So then we just go to barrel. So if it looks dark, it is because it is dark in there. It sits in an underground basement and it will sit 8, 9 months, 10 months of the out. We go only into 30 use barrels. Mendoza Malbec is about the fruit, and it has to be a balance between the fruit and the density of the oak. If the yield were lower, for example with Chimera, we would go to newer oak for more time. We don't want any of our wines to be oak soup. We want them to be balanced. The oak, the barrel, is a tool. The barrel should never be an ingredient. It's an ingredient when you look to add flavors to the wine. We don't want to add flavors. It's all there in the grapes. What we want to do is to allow the wine in the barrel to polymerize. Those tannins that are a bit rough after vinification, after fermentation, to slowly attach one to the other. That's called polymerization. And the longer the tannin chain, the longer the phenol chain, the softer it is in mouth. So that's what barrel does. It's a tool. I know that new barrels add flavors and some structure to the wine. The barrel makers, actually two only that we choose, are the one that have the most respect for the fruit. The barrel makers that less impose of themselves on the wine. So if Malbec Mendoza is about fruit, that's the reason why we sell 2010. If you may notice, every time we're presenting a new vintage, Chimera will be 2009, the Fincas will be 2009, the single vineyard old vine Malbecs, but Chimera will be 2010. Why? It has some less time in the barrel, it has some less time in the bottle before we deliver, and you find that vivacity of the fruit. You find that fruit that is screaming and kicking and needs time to aerate in the glass or in the decanter.
So Chimera, our search for the perfect wine.
Yeah. Mama.
It's actually great the meaning of the word Chimera in Spanish, because it's not only the name of the mythological animal of the Greek, but it also means looking for something, trying to reach something that we think that it's perfection or impossible, and you know it, but you still go for it. So it's actually a struggling going on, but a look for going over that and reaching this perfection.
It's almost like a new age kind of a Zen Oriental concept in which the road is more important than the destiny. But let me tell you something. Actually, not you. Let me tell you something. I know it's impossible. I know we'll never get there. But in 2011, last March, I think we got darn close. Wait for Chimera 2011. I'm so happy with that wine. I was tasting it last week, and it's such a balance, such an intensity. I know we should be talking about this because this we need to sell right now. But Chimera, I think it's like a slow ramp going up, going up, going up. Every year we find something to improve. Every year we do actually find little notches and keys and things we can add, not to the wine, to the process, to the vineyard management.
That's something special about the blend. You know, you can always do something different, and like you have no roof. You can always go further.
Wow. Do you have the wine with you guys? I don't think so, because it's only 20 minutes per winery, so there's no time for glass exchange. But I seriously encourage you to find a bottle, open it up, share it out. This is a wine you have to have tasted before you take it on the road. This is a wine that is so complex. I backtrack. We were talking about a point of view of old vine Malbec. This point of view is Malbec is a key driver of balance and complexity in a wine. So it's a real blend. It's not Malbec 80% plus something more. No, it's around 40% Malbec with Merlot, Cabernet Franc, Cabernet Sauvignon, and Petit Verdot as all 5 Bordeaux varieties. And the yields are lower because now we're looking for minerality. Now we're looking for complexity. Not only for complexity due to the balance of the blend, but also for complexity from the root system, from increased minerality due to lower yields. You know, the plant has half the yield that it has in the Mendoza Malbec. It has 1.2, 1.5 tons per acre on the outside. That means 2 plants, one bottle. We have to get our math right. That means the plant has that big root system that we've been raising and tenderly caring for, has the ability to give all those micro oligo elements into less production, and therefore each of those elements, the odds are that it's how much is present in the wine will be above your threshold of perception. Being above, you'll be able to go into the glass. Each time you taste it or smell it, you'll find something different. And my current joke is you're out with your wife or a friend having dinner, and suddenly you have to say, waiter, another bottle please. Because it's that kind of wine. It's wine that can be gulched down, if that is the word. You can't just slug it along. It'll be a pity to do it very quickly, but it's eminently drinkable.
And the amount of layers that you find in this wine, you can actually taste all these different grapes in their own expression, each of them adding something special to the wine, to the blend. It's amazing. For you sales guys that you have to go there in the streets, the feedback I always get is you have Pinot drinkers, you have Cab drinkers. This is a wine that a Cab drinker loves. They love it. So it's something to remark. Some people think that Malbec sometimes is too a lot of fruit, but here we have a lot of personality in Malbec with all the other grapes, and goes great.
Some of you guys may remember in 2009, in the middle of the crisis, we did blind tastings across the U.S. And the goal of these blind tastings, in which Chimera was in the middle of it, was not to know which of the 3 wines was the best wine. It was to ask the audience if all 3 wines were in the same tranche, in the same level, and the same shelf of quality. Every single city we did the blind tasting, the unanimous answer was yes, all 3 wines are in the same category, in the same quality level. So then we would uncover the bottles, and some cities, they would then somebody in the audience would ask for a vote. Hey, we want to vote anyway, and then we would uncover the bottles, and the blind tasting we were doing for Chimera was against Ornellaia. As you know, Ornellaia, it's, I don't know, $150 to $200 retail, and Phillips Insignia. Again, another blend, another price point that is 3 times Chimera. So that was to show that Chimera is a fantastic value. Of all the wines, it may be the best value for the dollar, even though the price is double the Mendoza Malbec. We encourage you to present it in that view. This is a fantastic blend from a new world or old new world, in the sense that there's density of fruit from the new world, but there's minerality, there's acidity, there's ageability from the old world philosophy of vineyard, vineyard, and vineyard. So I know we are almost on time, and I just wanted to encourage you to go out there with a sample bag, go out there, open the bottles. If you're like me, you will double decant the night before to get the bottles to their best expression as soon as you open in the morning, and go out there, see your customers. Tasting Achaval Ferrer is believing in Achaval Ferrer. We don't do marketing, we don't do publicity, we don't do advertising. We are counting on you guys. It's word of mouth, and you are our mouth. You are our feet on the front line. Eclio will be there for you. I will try to be there as much as I can, but I like to be back in my vineyards and back in my cellar, and I think I add value there. And so Eclio will be with you, and we'll all be raising our glasses to you Wishing you the best of luck. And salud.
Salud.
Enjoy.
Enjoy.
We will.